The galactic hegemony had existed for 12,000 cycles, bringing hundreds of species under its control. They called themselves fair and kind rulers of space. When their scout ships detected radio signals from a small blue-green planet in an unremarkable arm of the galaxy, they simply followed their usual steps. Commander Zethar sent ships to make peace with the new species they called humans. John Carter was the captain of Earth's main defense ship called the Defiant. He was the first person to see the alien ships entering Earth's orbit. Many countries had agreed they should be careful with any aliens, but some nations still sent fighter jets to check on the strangers. The hegemony ships thought these jets were attacking them. They used their defenses, which destroyed 17 human aircraft. In just a few hours, all Earth governments joined together against what they thought was an alien attack. This had never happened before, all countries working as one. Ambassador Krelix of the hegemony tried to talk to the humans. He sent messages of peace in all Earth languages. He explained that destroying the jets was just them protecting themselves. But human military experts thought these messages were tricks to confuse them. Lisa Hughes was the leader of the newly formed United Earth Defense Council. She gave the order for all countries to fire missiles at the alien ships. The aliens were shocked when the human weapons somehow went through their advanced shields. 2 of their peace ships were destroyed before the rest quickly jumped away into hyperspace. "They're running," Hughes told her cheering staff. Humanity has won its first battle against aliens. The Hegemony Council was stunned. In all their history, no species had ever attacked their peace ships. More worrying was how such simple weapons had broken through their shields. The aliens sent science ships to watch Earth from far away. They discovered something they had never seen before. Humans were the only known species to grow up on what they called a death world. Earth had strong gravity, extreme weather, many dangerous animals, and constant natural disasters. These hard conditions had created beings who were used to constant struggle. Dr. William Evans led Earth's team studying alien biology. They found pieces of alien technology from the destroyed ships. Their analysis showed the aliens had faster-than-light travel, but surprisingly weak defense systems. "Their ships are built to work well, not to fight," Evans reported. "They've never needed to fight wars like we have." Meanwhile, the Hegemony Council was having a big debate. Elder Voxthal urged everyone to be careful. These humans have developed alone on a hostile world. Their entire history is warfare. We must approach with extreme care. 6 months later, the Hegemony sent their best talker, Grand Ambassador Quilzen, on an unarmed ship showing universal peace symbols. The Earth Security Council, led by General Daniel Wright, let them land at a remote place in Australia. The ambassador offered terms. Earth would join the hegemony as a protected planet, getting technology and knowledge if they accepted alien rule. Wright's answer was direct. "Humanity bows to no one. We will accept trade and sharing culture as equals, but we will not give up our freedom." When the ambassador explained that all species accepted hegemony protection, Wright asked how many of those species had successfully destroyed hegemony ships in their first meeting. The talks failed. As Quilzen's ship left, he sent one last message. "Your species doesn't understand. The hegemony is not the predator you should fear." The Hegemony Council called an emergency meeting. For the first time in 8,000 cycles, they approved military action, but not to conquer. They wanted to contain what they saw as an extremely dangerous species. On Earth, factories worked day and night making weapons and ships. Scientists studied the alien technology they had found and used it to improve human engines and weapons. The first human warships that could travel between planets were ready. Mary Foster was the chief engineer of the Earth Defense Force ship Indomitable. She installed the new experimental faster-than-light drive. "They think we're primitive," she told her crew. "Let's show them how quickly humans can learn and adapt." The hegemony sent warning messages to all space-traveling civilizations. Stay away from the Sol system. Violent, disobedient species lives there. Area under quarantine. Most alien species listened to this warning. One did not. The Drekthar Collective had always resisted the hegemony's control. When they heard about a species that had successfully fought against the hegemony, they saw a chance to gain power. Admiral Kate Wilson of Earth's Outer Defense Grid spotted the Collective's ships approaching Mars. Unlike the hegemony vessels, these ships were heavily armed. The Collective messenger, Executor Vril, offered humans advanced weapons if they would join forces against the hegemony. Wilson didn't trust this sudden generosity. She asked for time to think while her team studied the alien vessel. "They're using us as chess pieces," Wilson told Earth Command. "Their weapons would help us fight the hegemony, but they have hidden tracking systems and override controls." When Earth said no to their offer, the Collective ships started firing on the human colonies on Mars. Earth's fleet fought back, showing battle tactics the aliens had never seen before, sacrificing ships to gain tactical advantage, using suicide attack runs, and using psychological warfare techniques the humans had perfected through thousands of years of fighting each other. The Collective fleet had to retreat, but not before seeing how ruthlessly efficient humans were in battle. The hegemony intercepted recordings of the fight between humans and the Collective. Elder Voxthal spoke gravely to the council. "We have made a serious mistake. Humans don't fight like we do. They don't try to be efficient or have few casualties. They adapt, improvise, and accept losses that we would find unthinkable." The hegemony changed its quarantine message. The Sol system contains a species called humans. They evolved on a death world under conditions no space-traveling species has survived. Their entire history is warfare against their environment and each other. They see conflict as normal and have developed ways of fighting that we cannot understand. Do not provoke them. Do not threaten them. If you meet them, leave immediately. On Earth, people celebrated beating the Collective, but they also realized the serious reality of galactic politics. President Laura Bennett spoke to the United Nations. "Two advanced civilizations have challenged us. Both have run away. We have earned our place among the stars not through friendly talks, but through strength. As we start to travel beyond our solar system, we must decide what kind of space-traveling species we want to be. The galaxy now fears us. Perhaps our next challenge is showing them they don't need to." As Earth's first ships that could travel between stars got ready to launch, the message from countless alien civilizations was clear: when humans go to war. 5 years had passed since Earth's first contact with alien life. The galactic hegemony maintained their quarantine, keeping their distance but watching carefully. The Drekthar Collective had not returned after their defeat. Humans used this time wisely. The United Earth Space Force had grown from a handful of experimental ships to a fleet of 200 vessels. 40 of these ships could now travel faster than light. Earth had also built defense stations around Mars, Venus, and Jupiter's moons. Jack Wilson was the captain of the Voyager, Earth's first true exploration vessel. His mission was to travel beyond the solar system and make peaceful contact with other civilizations. "We're not looking for fights," President Bennett told him before the mission. "Show them humans can be friends as well as enemies." The Voyager crew was nervous but excited as they prepared for their first jump to Alpha Centauri, the nearest star system. No human had ever traveled so far before. "Faster than light, drive ready," said Susan Miller, the ship's engineer. "We can jump whenever you give the word, Captain." Wilson took a deep breath. "Let's make history. Jump now." The stars blurred around them as the Voyager entered hyperspace. When they emerged, a new sun shone in their view screen. They had traveled 4.3 light-years in minutes. "We did it," cheered the crew, but their celebration was cut short. "Captain, I'm picking up signals," said Communications Officer Peter Hayes. "There's a ship hiding behind the third planet." Wilson ordered the Voyager to approach slowly, broadcasting peace messages in all the languages they knew from the two alien contacts. As they got closer, they could see it was a small ship, damaged and drifting. "It's not hegemony or collective design," said Science Officer Linda Brown. This is a new species. Wilson decided to help the damaged ship. The Voyager crew found 4 small aliens inside. They looked like blue foxes walking on 2 legs. They were scared, but still alive. The aliens called themselves the Trell. Their translator device soon helped them communicate with the humans. They had escaped from their home planet when the Collective attacked it. The Collective takes our resources, takes our people as workers, explained the Trell leader, who called himself Blue Sky. We refused to help them fight against the hegemony, so they punished us. Wilson shared food and medical help with the Trell. He learned that many smaller species in the galaxy were caught between the powerful hegemony and the aggressive Collective. The hegemony protects, but controls. The Collective offers freedom, but only if you join their wars, said Blue Sky. Neither cares what smaller species want. When the Trell ship was fixed, Wilson offered to escort them to a safe place. Blue Sky was confused by this kindness. We heard humans were dangerous warriors, he said. The galaxy fears you. Why would you help us? Wilson smiled. Humans can be fierce fighters when threatened, it's true. But we also value freedom and helping others. We won't force you to join us or control you like the hegemony. We won't use you like the Collective. We just want to be friends and trading partners. Blue Sky thought about this. Perhaps the galaxy has misjudged humans. Or perhaps you are more complex than they understood. When the Voyager returned to Earth, they'd brought not just scientific data, but a friendship agreement with the Trell. It was humanity's first peaceful alliance. In his report, Wilson wrote, "The galaxy sees us as warriors because that's all they've experienced from us. But we can show them another side of humanity. We can be protectors of smaller species without controlling them. We can offer true freedom and respect." President Bennett smiled as she read his report. This is how we change their warning to run into an invitation to join us. News of humanity's alliance with the Trell spread quickly through the galaxy. Many small species watched with interest. The humans had not tried to control the Trell or force them to fight. This was new in galactic politics. 6 months after the Voyager's return, Earth received visitors. 3 ships from different species arrived peacefully in orbit. They were the Miri, who looked like tall insects, the Vosh, round creatures with 6 arms, and the Pulet, beings made of crystal-like materials. All 3 species had suffered under either hegemony control or Collective attacks. They wanted to learn more about the humans and their offer of alliance without control. Frank Adams was chosen as Earth's main speaker for these talks. He had been a history teacher before First Contact and understood how to explain human culture to non-humans. Humans fought each other for thousands of years, Adams told the visitors. We know the cost of war. But we also understand the value of true freedom. We don't want to rule you or use you. We want to build something new together. The alien representatives were still careful. The Miri speaker, Tikta, asked the hardest question. If we join your alliance, and then the hegemony attacks us, will you really risk your people to defend ours? Adams nodded. We will. An attack on one is an attack on all. That's the core of our alliance. The talks lasted for weeks. The aliens studied human history, both the good and bad parts. They were impressed by how quickly humans had united after discovering they weren't alone in the universe. While the talks continued on Earth, the Hegemony Council was having its own emergency meeting. Elder Voxthal showed images of the 3 alien ships at Earth. Humans are building a coalition of smaller species, he said. This threatens the balance of power we have maintained for thousands of cycles. Some council members wanted to attack Earth now, before more species joined the human alliance, but Voxthal disagreed. Direct conflict with humans would cost too many lives, he warned. They do not fear death like we do. We need another approach. The hegemony decided to send their own representative to Earth. For the first time, they would not demand control but offer true partnership. On Earth, just as the smaller species were ready to sign the alliance agreement, a huge hegemony ship appeared in orbit. It was bigger than anything humans had seen before. "They're trying to scare us," said Defense Minister Robert Chen. "Should we power up our weapons?" President Bennett chose a different path. "No, let's hear what they have to say first." The hegemony ambassador, a tall gray being named Central, landed on Earth. For the first time, he did not demand Earth submit to hegemony rule. Instead, he offered a place in the Hegemony Council itself. "Humans have shown they cannot be controlled," Central admitted. "So we offer you equal status instead. Join us as partners." It was a surprising offer. Many human leaders were tempted by the advanced technology and protection the hegemony promised. But Adams noticed how the representatives from the smaller species looked down in sadness. He understood what was happening. "You're only offering this to humans," Adams said to Central. "What about our allies? Will they also have equal status?" Central hesitated. "They are not ready for such responsibility." President Bennett stood up. "Then neither are we. Humanity will not abandon our new friends for special treatment. Either all free species are equal or none are truly free." The hegemony ambassador left Earth empty-handed. The Alliance of Free Species signed their agreement the next day. In the Great Hall of the United Nations, representatives from Earth, Trell, Miri, Vosh, and Pulet created something new in the galaxy: the Free Systems Alliance. The Free Systems Alliance grew stronger over the next 2 years. 7 more species joined, bringing new ideas and technologies. Each member kept their own government, but agreed to help each other. Humans shared their fighting skills, while other species taught humans about space farming, better medicine, and ways to make energy without hurting planets. But not everyone was happy about this new group. The Drekthar Collective saw the alliance as a threat to their power. The hegemony worried about losing control of more worlds. "We must stop this alliance before it grows too strong," said Drekthar leader Krell to his war council. "Humans have given these weak species courage. If we break the humans, the rest will run back to their homes." The collective gathered their largest battle fleet, 300 warships armed with planet-destroying weapons. They planned to attack Earth directly, hoping to cut off the head of the Alliance. On Earth, Alliance Sensor Officer Maria Garcia was the first to detect the coming danger. She was working the night shift at the Jupiter Defense Station when her screens lit up with warnings. "Multiple ships coming out of hyperspace at the edge of our system," she reported to command. "It's the largest fleet I've ever seen." The Alliance had only 100 ships ready for battle near Earth. They were outnumbered 3-1. Alliance Admiral Ben Stewart knew they couldn't win a direct fight. "We need time to gather our full fleet," he told President Bennett during the emergency meeting. "If we can delay them for 3 days, we can bring in enough ships to defend Earth." But how could they slow down such a large enemy fleet? The answer came from an unexpected place. Lisa Young was a scientist working with the crystalline Pulet. Together, they had been studying ways to use gravity to help ships move faster. But now, she had a different idea. "If we reverse our gravity generators and place them along the collective's path, we could create artificial gravity storms," she explained. "It wouldn't stop them, but it would force them to move slowly and carefully." It was risky, but they had no better options. Small, fast ships raced out to place the gravity generators in the path of the incoming fleet. When activated, the devices created swirling storms of gravitational force that twisted space itself. The collective ships were forced to slow down as they navigated these dangerous areas. Some smaller ships were torn apart when they tried to move too quickly. The main fleet lost 2 days dealing with the gravity traps. Those 2 days were just enough. Alliance ships arrived from all member worlds, gathering at Earth. The Trell brought their fastest ships. The Miri contributed their advanced shield technology. The Vosh added their healing ships to help wounded fighters. By the time the collective fleet reached Earth orbit, they faced not just 100 ships, but 500, the combined might of all Alliance members. The collective commander was shocked. Where did all these ships come from? The reports said the other species were weak. The space battle that followed was the largest in galactic history. The Collective had more powerful weapons, but the Alliance had many different fighting styles and technologies working together. Human captains led daring attack runs. Troll ships darted between larger vessels, causing confusion. Miri shield technology protected vulnerable ships. After 16 hours of fighting, the Collective commander ordered a retreat. They had lost nearly half their fleet while the Alliance, though badly damaged, still held Earth safe. As the enemy ships jumped away into hyperspace, cheers erupted across all Alliance vessels. They had faced their first real test as a united force and succeeded. On his flagship Unity, Admiral Stewart sent a message to all Alliance worlds. Today we fought not just for Earth, but for all free peoples. The Collective thought they could break us apart. Instead, they made us stronger. The battle became known as the Stand at Sol. News of it spread quickly through the galaxy. More species began to consider joining the Alliance after seeing how its members protected each other. In the Hegemony Council chambers, Elder Voxthal spoke quietly. Everything has changed. The age of control is ending. We must adapt or face extinction. The victory at the Battle of Sol changed everything. The Free Systems Alliance was no longer seen as a small group of rebels. Now they were a real power in the galaxy. In the 6 months after the battle, 12 more species joined the Alliance. Each brought their own skills and knowledge. But the leaders of the Alliance knew that the Collective would not give up so easily. They would come back stronger. The Hegemony, too, might decide that the Alliance had become too dangerous to ignore. "We need to be ready for the next attack," said Alliance Defense Council leader Sarah Jones. "But we also need to show the galaxy that we stand for peace. We're not looking to take over like the Hegemony or the Collective." The Alliance decided to do something bold. They would send a peace mission to both the Hegemony and the Collective. They would offer a truce and a chance to talk about sharing the galaxy without fighting. Ryan Cooper was chosen to lead the mission to the Hegemony. He had been a peace worker on Earth before humans discovered alien life. The Pulet ambassador, Crystal Song, would go with him. "This is dangerous," warned Admiral Stewart. "The Hegemony might take you prisoner to learn Alliance secrets." Cooper nodded. "Sometimes we have to take risks for peace. That's what the Alliance stands for." Their ship, the Olive Branch, traveled to the edge of Hegemony space. There they sent messages asking for safe passage to meet with the Hegemony Council. For 3 days, there was no answer. Then suddenly, a Hegemony escort appeared. They would allow Cooper and Crystal Song to visit the Hegemony capital world. As their ship landed on the beautiful Hegemony homeworld, Cooper was amazed by the tall glass buildings and perfect gardens. Everything seemed peaceful and clean. Elder Voxthal met them personally. "We are surprised by your visit," he said. "After the battle with the Collective, we expected you to prepare for more war, not seek peace." Cooper explained the Alliance view. "We don't want an endless cycle of fighting. We believe all species can live freely and still work together. We don't need to control each other." The Hegemony Council listened carefully. For thousands of years, they had believed that peace could only come through control. The idea of peace through freedom was new to them. "Your alliance is young," said one council member. "It might fall apart when tested." Crystal Song stepped forward, her crystalline body catching the light. "The alliance has already been tested in battle. When the Collective attacked Earth, all our species fought together. Not because we were ordered to, but because we chose to." While Cooper and Crystal Song talked with the Hegemony, another mission headed to Collective space. Mike Wilson and the Trell ambassador Blue Sky traveled on the ship Harmony to meet with the Collective leaders. Their reception was much colder. The Collective leaders still felt angry about their defeat at Earth. "You come talking of peace after destroying half our fleet," growled Leader Krell. Wilson stayed calm. "We defended ourselves. We would prefer not to fight at all. That's why we're here." The talks with the Collective were difficult. Unlike the Hegemony, who at least listened, the Collective leaders seemed unwilling to consider peace. As Wilson and Blue Sky were preparing to leave, a younger collective commander named Vex pulled them aside. "Not all of us want endless war," Vex said quietly. "Some of us see that the old ways aren't working. Your alliance has shown there's another path." This was unexpected good news. There were those in the collective who might be allies for peace. When both missions returned to Alliance space, they shared what they had learned. The hegemony was cautious but willing to talk more. The collective official position was still hostile, but cracks were appearing in their unity. "This is just the beginning," Cooper told the Alliance Council. "Change won't happen quickly. But for the first time in thousands of years, the three great powers of the galaxy are talking instead of just fighting." President Bennett nodded. "And that gives us hope. The warning to run from humans has become an invitation to talk with humans." 5 years had passed since the first peace missions. The galaxy was changing in ways no one could have imagined. The Free Systems Alliance now included 32 species from across the stars. They shared technology, culture, and protection. The hegemony had slowly opened talks with the Alliance. They hadn't joined, but they had signed trade agreements and allowed free travel between their spaces. Elder Voxthal had become the main supporter of cooperation with humans and their allies. The collective had split into two groups. The old leaders like Krell still wanted to fight and conquer, but Commander Vex had led many collective worlds to break away and form what they called the Free Collective. These worlds now worked closely with the Alliance while keeping their own identity. On the 10th anniversary of First Contact Day, representatives from all known spacefaring civilizations gathered on Earth. It was the largest peaceful meeting in galactic history. The main event was held in the Great Peace Hall in New Geneva. Leaders from 217 species sat together under one roof. Even the old collective sent watchers, though they refused to participate directly. Alan Foster, now the president of the Alliance Council, opened the meeting. He was the grandson of Mary Foster, who had built the first human faster-than-light drive. 10 years ago, our species met for the first time. There was fear, misunderstanding, and conflict, he said. Today we meet as friends, partners, and fellow travelers among the stars. Elder Voxthal spoke next. The old alien looked much frailer than when humans first met him, but his voice was still strong. For 12,000 cycles, the hegemony believed peace could only come through control. Humans showed us another way. They taught us that true peace comes from respect and freedom. We were wrong about them. When we said run from humans, we should have said learn from humans. The most surprising speaker was Krell himself. The old collective leader had asked to address the gathering. Many were worried he would make threats, but security allowed him to speak. Krell looked around the great hall, his eyes resting on each species. The collective fought against the hegemony for thousands of cycles. We offered freedom, but demanded loyalty in return. We were no better than those we fought against. He turned to the human section. We attacked Earth believing we could easily defeat these newcomers. We were wrong. But humans did not destroy us when they could have. They offered peace instead. This has given me much to think about. It wasn't exactly an apology, but coming from Krell, it was revolutionary. As he stepped down, whispers filled the hall. Was the old collective finally ready for peace too? The final speaker was the oldest living human who had been part of First Contact, Lisa Hughes, now 92 years old. She had given the order to fire on the first hegemony ships all those years ago. "I made a decision based on fear," she admitted. "I thought I was protecting Earth, but I started a war. What I've learned since then is that understanding is harder than fighting, but it's the only path that leads to real peace." As the speeches ended, the thousands of beings from across the galaxy stood together. They weren't all friends. They didn't agree on everything. But they were talking instead of fighting. In orbit above Earth, ships from all the represented worlds floated peacefully side by side. Among them was a special museum ship, the restored hegemony diplomatic vessel that had survived the First Contact battle. It had been turned into a memorial and reminder of how easily misunderstanding can lead to conflict. On the observation deck of the Alliance headquarters on the Moon, John Carter, the captain who had first spotted alien ships entering Earth orbit, stood with Blue Sky, the Trell, and Vex from the Free Collective. The three friends watched the Earth spinning below them, beautiful and blue. "Did you ever imagine it would turn out like this?" Blue Sky asked. Carter shook his head. "Never. When I first saw alien ships, I thought it was the end of human independence. Instead, it was the beginning of something much bigger." Vex made the clicking sound that was his species' version of laughter. The galaxy warned everyone to run from humans. Now everyone runs to humans when they need help. "We've all come a long way," Carter said, watching the ships of 100 worlds glittering in Earth orbit. "And we got a much longer journey ahead. Together."